You often struggle to fall asleep just because the thoughts in your mind keep playing cat and mouse right before your bedtime. Put an end to the play and rest with stories that calm your soul. When you're asleep, how much is your 5 minutes more? Is it 10? Is it 30? Or something more? If so, aren't you the Baloo of your friend group and family? But you're always there for everyone. With that, let's start today's chapter. A cozy welcome to Dreamy Campfire Sleep Stories. Follow my voice and embrace the night's calm for a relaxing sleep. Listen and fall asleep. The mercury rose as the sun came alive and morning morphed into a light and cozy one. Though the smell of blood hung thick over the jungle, every other creature went about their business as usual. As they shook their fur, they didn't know if the chill got the better of them or the unsettling incident rattled their bones. The fear had registered itself in their hearts and soared only higher and higher as morning unfolded. A group of young wolves approached a cave as they chattered about the hot topic in the jungle. Their voices could awaken mammoths and even the dead, but Baloo, you think so but not the sleeping bear. In fact, their voices died down when they heard Baloo snoring away in his cave. "Who's going to wake him up today?" one of the wolves said. A few moments later, the leader took the mantle, or more like bribed into taking the mantle. When the appointed leader stepped inside the cave, a sweet smell of honey lifted his spirits. He poked at Baloo's gong-like belly. When the bear refused to open his eyes, after several nudges and callings, the leader wolf rammed his head into Baloo's belly. What? Don't tell me someone stole my honey, Baloo said, half asleep, then changed his sides, only falling asleep without missing a beat. No, it's time for lessons. Come out now, everyone's waiting, the wolf said. Baloo scratched his belly and turned on his other side again, saying, "Yeah, all right, just give me 5 more minutes." And just like that he drifted back into sleep. It took more than 10 minutes to get Baloo up and ready for his lectures. Once outside, Baloo spread his bottom, making the ground warm and comfortable. He let out a long sigh as he settled his back against a tree trunk. Then he closed his eyes. For a moment, panic rose in young wolves, for the bear had closed his eyes. They began screaming at Baloo, and the bear opened his eyes with a sullen face. Baloo wiped his face with his paw and gazed at the sky. The young wolves exchanged quick whispers and giggled. "So for today's lesson," Baloo said after he had his fill of sky gazing, "the importance of sleep and food in wolf's life." "Ha," they uttered in unison. "We had that lesson 2 days ago. But you did sleep last night and the night before, and before that too, and you'll sleep today as well," Baloo said, his back ever so sliding down the tree's trunk. "So this lesson is perpetual. It's for eternity. Learn this well." Before Bagheera could announce himself, his laughter did. "Oh hey, it's Bagheera," Baloo said with a twinkle in his eyes, but still refused to get up. "Can't agree with you more. Sleep and food are important in anyone's life," Bagheera said as he approached the bear. "All right, wolves, go play hunt." Before Baloo could object to this, the young wolves sprinted away and disappeared into the thickets. "I've to answer to Akela about their training, Bagheera," said Baloo. "Yeah, well, they did already learn the lesson, so no problem at all. And besides, you're looking forward to a morning nap." Bingo, the bear said and closed his eyes. So speak quickly. I've to enjoy my morning nap. He looked at the figures of wolves playing and whispered, thanks for sending them away. I need your help. Oh, how many honey pots are we talking about here? Listen first, because this time it's different, Bagheera said and watched Baloo open his half-closed eyes. You must have heard about Shere Khan's exploits. Not the recent ones, no. Bagheera stared at Baloo with wide eyes as his jaw fell on the ground. What have you been doing since yesterday? I got bored, so I slept like a log since yesterday's afternoon, Baloo declared. I'd say that's easily one of my top 10 best sleeps. Bagheera's jaw fell further to the ground. He opened and closed his mouth in an attempt of some words, but everything seemed lost, as if he'd forgotten the words themselves. Baloo nodded at Bagheera, encouraging him to speak up. Putting his paws on his eyes, Bagheera shook his head. Breathing 3 lungfuls of air, he sat to the moment and looked straight into Baloo's eyes. Am I missing something? Baloo said. No, of course not, said Bagheera. Long story short, Shere Khan killed the man-cub's mother, and now Raksha has accepted the man-cub as her own, naming it as Mowgli. So Mowgli needs to get the pack's protection because Shere Khan will kill Mowgli. So I need you to back Raksha and Mowgli up at the pack's gathering. He nodded and added, well, that's it. Looking from side to side, up and down as he lolled his head about, Baloo put his paws to his mouth and frowned. As if hit by a lightning bolt, he sat up straight and looked at Bagheera like he had never seen the panther before. He blinked twice, opened his mouth, waved his paw in the air, and then fell on his back looking at the sky again. Bagheera sat on his hind legs as Baloo processed, or at least appeared to be processing, the story. Baloo sat up again, pointed at Bagheera. He then brought that pointed paw and rubbed his ear. Extending his arms to his sides, he again opened his mouth and looked like a figure frozen in time, for he didn't speak or move. And then he brought his extended arms to his belly and drummed his belly for a while. He then shrugged and said, okay. Bagheera heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. Good thing you got that on the first try, because I didn't really know how to narrate all that stuff again. When Baloo only sported his teeth, Bagheera said, you didn't get that, now did you? I've got to back Raksha up, right? I got that. Huh, too easy for me. Sizing Baloo up, Bagheera shrugged and sighed. And one last time, a message for Akela. You better have pots of honey ready for me, Bagheera. When the pack assembled for the meeting, when the moon stood high in the sky, Baloo took his corner seat by the rock to support his back. Akela, the alpha of the pack, began addressing the gathering. Baloo had relayed the message, though what it meant seemed lost to him, but nonetheless he did the job, and so he sat anticipating the moment where Bagheera offered him honey. He saw honey drip from his paws while his lips jutted out. The gathering proceeded for a while. Raksha, the mother wolf, stepped up. Baloo walked up to Raksha and sat beside her. Everyone, including Raksha, wondered what Baloo had to say to the gathering. The elders of the pack asked Baloo to speak first. I'm here to support Raksha, he declared. But she hasn't said anything, one of the elders said. No problem, Then I'll be supporting her afterwards, Baloo said and stepped back. He saw Raksha about to question him, but he stopped her with a wave of his paw. Then Raksha narrated the last evening's happenings and how a man-cub came to her. She said, "Mowgli is my cub now, and I ask all of you to accept him into the pack." She nodded to Paw, and he brought Mowgli and set him down near Raksha's feet. "He needs the pack's protection till he comes of age. I beg the council to hear a mother's plea and let my son be part of this pack." Before any other wolf could express their bewilderment, Baloo broke in fits of laughter. "Ha, never heard a man-cub join the wolf pack. Who's going to support that?" Everyone's eyes fell on Baloo. With big "huh" pasted on their faces, they just stared at the big bear. His laughter ceased and died a slow death. He pointed his paw to his face, and as realization dawned on him, he muttered, "Oh, I see. Well played, Bagheera." He shook off the embarrassment and glanced at Mowgli, and smiled. "I meant to say, whole support beside me."